Do you love YA Lit? Looking for a community of readers who love it as much as you do? Want to find more rad, diverse books? Check out Yeah Podcast, a show about young adult lit and what it can teach us at any age. Every episode, we discover new books, revisit old classics, hold exclusive interviews with amazing authors, and talk a lot about Twilight. This is our book club, and you're invited. Find us, and many other shows, in the Pod Cavern.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom.
I'm Brad.
I'm Laura.
I'm Sam.
And welcome to the library, or the Disney Book Club. And in the Disney Book Club, we have the Disney Dummies! I think that intro works. We
didn't feel forced.
You gotta kind of go with the flow when this is only your second time doing Disney Book Club.
Yeah.
It's true.
This is
shoot from the hip, ride the waves.
That's right. Ride the waves or ride the sea.
Or sit on the beach with your book.
Yeah, you could do that. You could sit on a nice sunny island.
Mm-hmm.
Curl up with a cup of tea.
All these things you can do with Disney Book Club, especially on today's special episode. Welcome to Disney Dummies Cross Pixar Pals, everyone. This is the show where we normally would go through a movie, talk about the movie, and give you the summary, hot takes, all those things. But guess what? If you're listening to this episode, we've basically watched everything at this point. We've gone through all of Disney's theatrical releases. We've done Pixar's theatrical releases. We've done Pixar shorts. We've done a bunch of Disney direct-to-home video releases. And now here we are scraping at the bottom of the barrel. I wouldn't say scraping at the bottom of the barrel. We chose to do this.
Yes.
We brought this on ourselves.
Did we?
I mean, at least Laura
I feel like it was chosen.
It might have been
for
forced
us.
upon Brad.
We forced this upon Brad. Disney Book Club, everyone. This is our second time doing this. The first time we did this, we actually talked about the non-canon sequel to Brave, which was called Bravely.
Whoa.
Which I still can't get over how bad of a name Bravely is. Again, why isn't it called Braver? That makes way more sense than Bravely. Doesn't matter. But last time we talked, Laura and Sam, we went on like a vacation together, the Disney Dummies, and we surprised Sam with the Bravely book because we talked about it on the episode of Brave, I believe, when we did that episode.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, there's a book. Apparently it's good. And we gave it to Sam. Laura and Sam read it. I think it was a really great time hearing the story, the non-canon story of Brave.
The unexpected romance.
The romance that...
It wasn't unexpected to me.
For me.
Sam, you right away.
And it was like a YA novel where, like, I don't remember, Merida was like
she went
in
on
love
three
with
adventures.
3 adventures during seasons, and she was like, had the hots for some god, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well, she didn't have the hots for him, but that it was.
She didn't know she had the hots for him.
Okay. Anyways, listen to that episode because I think it was quite good. And we had so much fun doing that this year for Christmas, or at least in 2024, we're like, you know what we're going to do to Brad? We're going to surprise him with a Disney book. Because, like, listen, like, Laura and Sam, they like to read in their spare time. That's like a hobby they like to do. Brad and I'm speaking on behalf of Brad. Brad, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But, like, reading novels, not really my jam. What about you?
No, I barely read like anything. I tend to skip through like sentences and then I get in trouble because I read things wrong.
Yeah, I know. Like my
like
ADHD just kind of like skips the page and I'm like, what did I just read?
You like your books like you like your milk. Skimmed.
What?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But we thought would be only fair if Brad and I subjected ourselves to a book as well. It's only fair to do this. And this time, like, Laura and Sam did not read this book. Last time, Brad and I didn't read Bravely. We just got to like sit in the passenger seat and like ask a bunch of questions. And the roles are reversed this time. So we surprised Brad with this Disney book we're talking about today. And his face, I think we have it on video. It was one of those faces where it was just like, it was a very polite smile because it was a gift, but also he's like,
his eyes were full of terror.
Anyways, the book is called Prince of Song and Sea. It is a Little Mermaid book, if you didn't know that. It is also a Disney Prince novel. It says that at the very top of the book here. And on the front cover, this beautiful hardcover book, we have a very smoky, sexy looking Prince Eric.
He looks good.
Smoldering.
He's smoldering.
He looks good.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think?
He's got that guy liner on there.
Yeah.
Sam loves
Yeah,
that.
I do. He looks, just like a hint of like emo in there.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like,
Yeah.
Very pronounced brows, but not too much.
And we also have like a giant wave, and we see Ariel as well on the front page of this book. Yeah, so we are talking about Prince of Song and Sea, a Disney Prince novel by Linsey Miller. This was made in 2022. And I think like this book also, going in blind, but kind of was also like, oh yeah, this book's actually really good. But as we know, Bravely was also apparently really good. And
I was just going to ask you, Tung,
Yeah.
knowing that we were going to do another Disney book club, what made you pick this one?
do you know we joke about this this book at one point on?
Yeah, I think we did.
At the end of the other cast, I think we
at the
joked
end of
about
we
the
do.
other books.
Yeah, because I'm just going to just kind of reveal this to people. But the Disney Prince novels, there's 3 of them. And I think we discovered that at the end of Bravely. And we're like, what if we did Prince of Song and Sea? And here we are doing Prince of Song and Sea. The other ones were I believe, a Cinderella one. And what is the
Prince Philip, I
Sleeping
think.
Beauty. I actually wrote this down.
It's like Prince of Thorns and some other one.
Yeah, actually has some pretty cool names.
Classic YA titles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Prince of Thorns and Nightmares.
Yeah, that's it.
We're
Yeah.
getting
I
close
know.
to the ACOTAR series
Yeah.
with these titles.
Yes.
Does sound like a court of, what is that?
Court of Thorns and
Court
Roses.
of Thorns and Roses.
Oh, yeah. What about this from Cinderella? Prince of Glass and Midnight.
I think there's Throne of Glass is a separate series by the ACOTAR.
Oh my God,
author,
they're so on the nose.
Yep.
Oh, man. Anyways, all that to say is, yes, today we are talking about Little Mermaid kind of spinoff, all about Prince Eric. Because if you watch Little Mermaid, we all know we wanted to know more about Prince Eric.
Where did the recorder come from?
Where did he come from? What's his deal? We learned too much about Ariel and mermaids. Let's learn about the man.
What's Grimsby's backstory?
Why didn't he just immediately kiss Ariel? These are all the things I wondered about.
So, Brad, I'll just ask you really quickly. How long did it take you to read this book?
I started yesterday.
Honestly, not that long. Like once I sat down, it was a pretty quick read. I picked away. I did like 1 chapter a night for a bit.
Me too.
Because I was like, well, I'm gonna pick away at it, and then I got lazy and stopped doing that. I think that lasted like 6 nights, and then on the weekend, I sat down. I think it was like 4 hours, maybe at most.
Wow.
And I read not all of it, but I read like
Good chunk of it.
200 pages through the majority of it.
What were
and
you
then I
drinking?
finished it. Nothing. This was like from 9 to
Whoa.
noon or something.
sober read
Just in the
sesh.
morning, I got up with my coffee, nice and
And you couldn't
Oh,
put
you had
it
a
down.
coffee at least. Okay.
oh yeah.
Couldn't put
And
it
then,
down. You're like, what is he going to do next?
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, this is great.
This book is like 350 pages. It is quite generous with its font size. It is a YA novel, so it's quite easy to like digest. And I will say this is like the first book I've read front to back in a very long time. I usually do audiobooks. I do a ton of those, and I was also, Brad, you think you joked about this earlier too, about using your Audible credit to do this. And I was like tempted as well. I was like, I need someone to read it for me. But
I did not do that. I will have it be known. But I did consider it.
Proud of both of you.
If it was really that, if it had been like actually bad, I feel like I would have just maybe done the Audible and like blasted through it at like 2 times speed or something.
So we're going to do like a standard Disney Dummies format to a degree. I am going to summarize this book So if you are like very sensitive to spoilers for this book, watch out, because I'm spoiling Prince of Song and Sea for you. But I do want to like talk about just some of the things on this book from like a physical aspect here. So at the back of the book, it says, do find the isle, do kill the witch, don't kiss the girl. Sam loves it already.
I do. What can I say?
Just you wait.
I'm going to read you the kind of synopsis or like the teaser on the side of the book, and then I'll get into the details. But I think the side little summary here is a good way to just kind of wrap your head of what this book even is. So just give me a second while I do that and set the stage for you. So there are two sides to every happily ever after. Before Prince Eric's mother, the Queen of Valona, went missing 2 years ago, she reminded him about the details of the deadly curse that has plagued his entire life. The curse? If he were to kiss someone other than his true love, he would die.
Oh, no.
With a neighboring kingdom looking for any excuse to invade their shores and rumors of ghost pirates lurking the seas, Eric must break this curse either by finding his true love, the one with a pure soul and a voice to match, or by killing the sea witch responsible for cursing him in the first place. Now, Eric is on a quest to find the Isle of Serene, the witch's legendary home. But after he is rescued by a mysterious young woman with a mesmerizing singing voice, Eric's heart becomes torn. Does he enter a battle he is almost certain he cannot win, or chase a love that might not even exist? Are you intrigued?
I am so seated right now.
I feel like Sam and Laura talked about this in the last one, but it's funny hearing you because I was wondering how to pronounce the island.
Yeah,
I was in my head saying Serene.
Oh, maybe.
You were saying Serene, which now looking at it makes more sense.
How do
I'm
you
interested
spell
to
it?
hear or see what Laura thinks.
Sure. The spelling is Serein.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Serene.
Serene.
Serene?
I'm saying serene.
Like vein.
Ew.
I think that makes sense. This is why I don't read a lot. I'm bad.
It's
at
confusing because I
pronouncing
thought this was set in France, but I could not even give a wild guess at the etymology of that word.
things. This
Serene.
book blows open the world of the Little Mermaid.
It
You got
does.
like 4 nations, 5 nations.
Fictional?
There's sea. There's maps. Oof.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's a lot in this book, but I can't wait to tell you about it.
Yeah.
So
Let's get into it.
I'm going to give like the best I can shorter summary situation. Brad, you can help if you want to, just chime in. Brad will be in charge of other sections of the summary, of this podcast episode here. But I have tasked myself and burdened myself with the summary.
Yeah.
And Laura and Sam, feel free to ask any questions during the podcast.
I'm sure we will, Tom.
I have so many questions already, but I should wait to see if you answer them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
I'm going to start off by saying this is, if you've seen Little Mermaid, it is kind of like a companion piece to Little Mermaid. It is a book that runs parallel to The Little Mermaid. And
Like Lion King 1.5?
he's much more involved in the story. Like, you know how like Timon and Pumbaa are kind of like doing their own thing and they just happenstance come into these crazy situations that affect other people. Eric is very much a main player in this. It's just that now we're seeing it from his perspective.
Okay.
So if you know The Little Mermaid, all of those events are true and they happen, but now we just see it from Prince of Eric's perspective, and we start seeing a little bit before the movie and just a touch after, and then some little side quests that happen.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very much like it is for sure Eric's story, and Ariel like comes into it, and there's zero like her side of Little Mermaid stuff,
Right.
but there's fun little things that I'm sure Tung will touch on. And then it's almost like in the movie, you can almost assume there's like a time jump where you just like don't get to see that whole adventure they go on. And it is interesting because I will say I did a little extra legwork and I did watch The Little Mermaid the other night.
Get out of here. No way.
Just to, I
Wait,
don't know. Yeah, you were downstairs playing Boulder Skate. So I watched
Brad
Little Mermaid.
honor students.
I
Look
was
at
thinking
this.
about doing that, honestly. I'm glad you
Yeah.
did that. After I finished, I'm like, should I be watching this movie? Nah.
Yeah. I figured you were probably wondering, Sam, why I was trying to get you to watch Little Mermaid with me, but you were like, whatever, we can
Well,
watch
no,
this
I
anytime.
was gonna, and I threw it on that one morning, and then whatever, we just didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I didn't
well, this
think
is
you
why.
would watch
It's
it
like
without me.
It's like a parallel retelling,
Yep.
expanded.
Interesting.
And this is
story.
why I watched the Little Mermaid series after reading the book. And then Little Mermaid 2 afterwards. No. I'm going to go right into the summary of this book here. I split it up in early, middle, and late book. I think that was the easiest way to do it. I think in Bravely, it was much more clean because you both broke it up in seasons. That's how that whole book worked, right? But this one's like easier just to say what is the beginning of this book, what is the middle, and what's the end. So are you ready for Prince of Song and Sea? Because here we freaking go. Again, by Linsey Miller. I don't know what else she's done. Probably other YA stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it is set in the kingdom of Valona. That is the name of the kingdom. They live in this place called Cloudbreak Bay, which is the largest city in the smallest kingdom, which is Valona. And we're going to set the stage of Eric's like life before Ariel, but not too much before, just a little bit of table setting of like maybe like a month or two. The timing in this book's kind of weird, but like it's not set so far in the past. We get to meet his friends. Eric has some buddies. One of them's Gabriella. It's like his childhood friend that's like better than him at everything, like in fighting and sparring. She's kind of like the tough girl. And then he has another friend called Vonnie, which is just his best bud. So they have a trio, which is Eric, Gabriella, and Vonnie. We learned in the early chapters about how there have been like many storms that are happening around Valona lately. We learned that this world, they are not surprised about the notion of magic. Magic is like uncommon, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah, they do
world.
know about magic as a thing that exists in the world.
It's kind of like in storybooks, but it's not like unbelievable. It's not like, that could never happen. Like they even believe in like witches to a degree. It'd be like, there must be a witch that is causing the storms, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like curses are real, magic is real. It's just very rare, but it's like a thing that is known to exist, but is very rare.
Just like Bravely.
Just like Bravely. Yeah, I like that though. They cut right to the chase. They're like, we don't have to get to the part where they have to be, magic's real. It's like, magic's real enough. We learn about the Northern Kingdom of Sate, which is just, let's just call it like a kingdom that tries to bully Valona to like take over because Eric's mom, she passed away, guys. 2 years ago,
Oh, no.
she passed away in a shipwreck, and now there's kingdoms trying to get in with Eric, trying to like take his throne because he is not of age yet to take the throne himself. So
No, Dad?
His mom was the ruler.
Yeah.
his mom was the ruler.
Okay.
I don't even know if we actually heard about his dad.
No, there is a moment at some point in the book where he talks about, I think he says his dad passed before he was born or something, but he only knows him through the portraits and like the stories
Thank you.
that are told about him. And so he's like, I don't know, at some point it's like something about a memory somebody else is talking about, and it's like, me thinking I remember my dad because I was told about his laugh so many times or something like that.
He's not important, is what you should know.
Very
His dad
much
does
not.
not factor into this story. We meet characters. We get reintroduced to characters like Grimsby.
Yes.
Grimsby is in this book. He plays quite a significant role throughout the whole thing.
As he should.
Grimsby
And is a good fighter, apparently.
He's a good fighter. He is the butler advisor guy you would know in the movie. He's kind of like lanky with like what is it, gray
He's got
hair.
that great ponytail.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gets seasick easily.
We also get a lot of Max throughout this book too. Max being Prince Eric's dog, and everybody loves Max except one character doesn't. Spoilers: it's
What?
Vanessa,
Oh, yeah.
Ursula. But we'll get to that later.
Red flag if I ever heard one.
And we also learn that Eric likes to play the flute.
There's so much flute playing.
The flute, everyone.
So they
It's
call
not
it a
much.
flute.
It's not a recorder. It's a flute.
In the movie, it's a recorder.
In the movie, it's recorder, but like music in this in this book plays quite a significant thing.
Okay.
Part of it.
Okay,
And,
okay. Tell me more.
Eric, basically, whenever he's down or lost in the world or can't make sense of it, he'll play his flute.
Yeah.
And actually, I wrote down a line because I thought it was really funny. There's a line that says, he pulled his flute from his shirt pocket and twirled it like a baton.
Yeah. It's just
I
like
need to know more about this
like
pocket.
a fidget. It's like a fidget toy for him.
Okay.
That he
Would
just
you
like
say-
plays with his flute and then he'll play the flute.
Would you say if he was a D&D character, he'd be a bard then?
No,
I wouldn't say
so.
he is. Well, you know what?
He's like multi-class.
Yeah, there's maybe a part in this book that you would consider him like a bard-like
Yes.
character, but at this point, it's just flute. I'm not even sure if they say he's even that good at it. He just likes doing it.
Is he usually alone when he's playing it?
No,
Okay.
no, he
Okay.
can be alone, but he will play for other people and
All
stuff.
right.
He'll just whip it out whenever. His flute, by the way.
Yeah. It's just like a guy with a guitar and you're camping.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like, he just breaks it out randomly and starts playing.
That's right. In these early chapters, we learn a lot about how Eric feels trapped in his royal duties and is expected to marry for political alliances, and how Grimsby is very
Okay.
insistent that he should be doing this because there needs to be someone who sits on the throne of Valona. Otherwise, all bad things will happen. So Grimsby is very much setting up as many like dates as he can for Prince Eric and being like, you got to meet this princess. You got to meet this princess. Again, it's kind of like Brave in that way as well, where it's just like, you better find the love of your life because time's a ticking right now. You're about to, it's almost your birthday.
And his whole thing as well is like Eric needs to marry for like a line of succession. It's like for the court or whatever, like for the people to accept him or the court people to accept him, he needs a wife and he needs like basically to have children so that his line is good. Otherwise, other people will challenge him to be like, yeah. So that's also part of it.
And Prince Eric is like not thinking about that because like, his mom passed. He's still not over it. And it's just not something he's looking for, especially because we learn about the curse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Now,
He's also very woe is me for a lot of the first like few chapters where he's just like, it sucks being good looking and rich and like everybody just wants to like be my friend kind of thing.
but he's like, they want to be my friend for the wrong reasons. I can only be like close with Vani and Gabriella because they're my true friends and they've known me since I was a kid. But this curse, big deal. Little did you know, during Little Mermaid, Prince Eric was cursed the entire movie.
Yeah, that's why he didn't kiss her immediately.
Yeah. So this curse is basically, we're going to learn more about it in a bit, but the Cliff Notes version at this point in the story is that we know he can't kiss a girl that isn't his true love. If he does, he dies. That's it.
Crazy.
That's right.
That's a lot of pressure.
But it's very quickly specified that he can kiss his dog Max. That's okay. Like on the nose, on the snout.
Yeah.
There's like point where his mom like comes in when he was a little kid with his dog Max and she freaks out because he's like giving him a kiss on the head or whatever. But it's like Max
So his
is the
mom
only
knew
one
about
I
the
can love.
curse.
Oh, his mom knows about the curse. And great segue, Sam, because his
Oh, we'll get
mom, his dead mom, left him a letter.
Yeah.
Left him a letter.
Yeah.
And
Wait, did Eric not know about the curse?
Eric knows about the curse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a quick, I'm not going to even get too much into it, but he basically met a girl and it just went wrong because of this curse. And Max like jumped on her and Eric's like, oh, I'm sorry, but also you're not my true love. My life sucks. I'm going to go to my mother's study. And then in his mother's study, I think he like kicks a drawer and a letter comes out.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is this letter? Oh, it's written by my mom. And how
Beyond
convenient.
the grave.
And I'm going to read you some of this passage because I think it explains this this curse quite well, and it's better than me trying to summarize this part of it. So I'm going to skip, like, this letter is very long. It lasts almost the entire chapter, but here is part of it. As you are already aware, you were cursed before you were even born, but here is how it happened. A month into my journey across the seas after your father's death, I was walking on a beach at dawn, no one in sight, and saw a body floating in the surf. It was a child, small and chilled to the bone, and when I pulled them to shore, they weren't breathing. I breathed for them, and eventually they coughed up water from their lungs and lived. It was then a woman appeared. It's mine, she said. It is owed to me. I don't exactly know why, but in that moment, I did not believe her. I refused to hand them over. The woman grew angry. She revealed herself to be a witch. She claimed I had taken a soul from her and that she would steal a soul for me in return. If that thing in your belly ever kisses someone without a voice as pure as their spotless soul, someone who isn't its true love, then it will die, and I will drag its soul to the bottom of the sea. So that's what happened to Prince Eric, Eric's mom, and that's why Prince Eric is cursed. There's way more about that, but that's a good,
Yeah.
Who did the child turn out to be?
You're gonna find out.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty intense book.
Pretty intense, and it is one of those letters that it's such a trope. But it's like, if you're reading this, if you're reading this, I'm already dead kind of situation. So now that Eric has like a little hope in his eyes, because basically what happens throughout this letter is that there's like a clue that's like, you should go over to find the Isle of Serene. To
follow the blood tide.
Yeah, follow the blood tide. We're going to learn more about that in a little bit. And you're going to discover this witch. And that's all the mom really says in it.
Interesting.
And now Eric's like, I got to do this. I got to do this before I even marry anybody. And also this will help me because if I break this curse, then I can marry someone even if they're not my true love. I'll be free from this. I can make my own choices. La, 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 la. That kind of thing. So Eric sets sail the next day with his crew and his boat. It's actually called the Laughing Dove. The Laughing Dove. Mm-hmm. And it's like 60 men on this ship. And they're out to go find this isle. But they get boarded by pirates.
Ghost pirates?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Not yet. Just regular
pirates that don't kill people.
Pirates that don't kill. They're very friendly pirates, but they raid boats. But
yeah, they'll mess you up, but
Yeah.
not enough to hurt you.
Okay.
so that's exactly what happens. These pirates, they get on the book, they fuck shit up. The Grimsby fights as well. He has his rapier sword, just fighting.
Yeah.
He loses against the captain. And Sawyer, who has they them pronouns, by the way. I want to point that out because this book, there's a lot of actually LGBTQ representation in this book.
Good thing it got written before 2025.
Wow, yeah. When I read the 1 stars later, that is the main complaint is they them pronouns, blah. Stupid. So stupid. Anyway, Sawyer the captain ties all these pirates tie Prince Eric's crew up. All of them are tied up. There's another pirate on the crew named Nora. And Nora, she is, let's just say at this point of the book, she just works for Sawyer, the pirate captain, and tying everybody else up. And she's very flirtatious with Eric's friend, Gabriella.
And she's super cool too. She's the coolest.
So we're into Nora.
We're into
Even
Nora.
though she's a villain.
And there's a lot of really I don't know, flirtatious, but also they're frenemies with Gabriella.
Oh my God. Friends to lovers, pirates. I need this book.
I know. I was going to say, Sam's going to love this. The enemies to lovers thing. That's her trope.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but at one point she ties Gabriella up and they're just talking about, oh yeah, you're all tied up, aren't you? And oh yeah, you have a dagger in your hand. Whatever, that's pretty cool. There's just a lot of weird, I'm gonna let you keep that dagger because you can't even beat me in a fight, which is stupid stuff. So they're all tied up right now, and at this point, they see that a drop of blood hit the sea. And when this happens in this part of the ocean, it creates the blood tide. I will explain more about the blood tide later. But as we know right now, I'll explain a little bit right now.
You have to follow the blood tide to Serene.
Yes, you do. So
the blood tide's the first big mystery.
Yeah.
They kind of set up a few mysteries, but the blood tide's the main one where Eric's just I don't know what any of this is, but this is the first
one
thing. And I don't even know what it is, where it is, how to figure it out, how to find it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the big one.
We learn that the blood tide is an old tale that used to be told to children and stuff in Valona and everywhere. And it's basically this thing where when it happens, ghost ships come to you. Ghost ships come to you from the blood tide. And if you make eye contact with one of these ghosts, they basically take on the form of someone that you really care about and love, and they kind of like hypnotize you in a way that's like, come with me, come with me.
Oh boy.
And little did you know, the pirates were actually doing Prince Eric's crew a favor by tying them up because they knew the blood tide was happening. Yeah. And so this was actually a good deed that the pirates are doing because the blood tide is coming. Oh, it's here. The ghosts are at their front door. And now like Prince Eric, the crew, everybody's looking at these ghosts and they're basically like going to yeet themselves off the boat to go find whoever they're seeing right now. Okay.
This is also why the pirates were being nice and not actually killing people or spilling blood. And I think it was somebody on Eric's crew, or maybe Eric himself, who like ended up hurting one of the other Nora or something like that. So somehow there was a drop of blood. But the whole thing leading up to this is that Sawyer's crew, all the pirates are bad, but Sawyer's crew, they don't hurt people.
Yeah,
they
they're
just
good
like tie them
pirates.
up and leave them.
Yeah,
and this is why, because they know.
So when Laura said ghost pirates and you said not yet, you were serious.
Yeah, a little bit. So at this point, everybody's kind of hypnotized. Eric sees his mom. Oh my God, she's dead. Oh my God, she's dead. And she's like leading him to like yeet off the boat and come towards him. And everybody's seeing their own like lover or like could be lover, family member, friend, whoever it is.
Just anybody they care deeply about.
And like we have this thing where like Eric's like clawing at the rope and everyone's like tearing. They're going crazy trying to escape from these ropes. But guess what is actually the cure to break yourself from this hypnotization? Music.
Thank goodness we've got a flute player on board.
Eric plays the flute so much in this sequence here to like break people out of their like trance. He'll like play the flute right in front of
that's a bard move.
Yeah, he's just playing a little ditty next to people's ear, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm normal again." Eric, go play a ditty that way. Eric, go play a ditty that way.
But how did he know to play the flute?
Brad, do you remember? I think he just. How did he do that?
He just starts playing.
It's a self-soothing mechanism.
It has something to do with like his mom there, and he just like takes his flute out and starts playing. I can't remember the reason, but it breaks him out of it.
Yeah, it breaks him out of it. Then he starts breaking.
And then he's
people.
like, "Oh, the music.
The music's the cure." So
God, I'm good at flute playing.
Yeah, Eric, and he basically saves everyone. At the end of this sequence here, Eric starts to like broker a deal with the pirates. Because, like, the pirates, they're bad, right? They're pirates.
With Sawyer's crew?
Sawyer's crew.
Yeah.
Like, even though they didn't hurt Eric, they still, like, raided his ship, tied them up, all these things. So Eric's like, actually, this crew knows a lot about this Isle of Serene, or they at least know a lot about the blood tide. So, in exchange for pardons, I'm going to need you to help me find the blood tide and the Isle of Serene. And also I'm going to take Nora with me because she seems to know a lot. So that's kind of the deal that's going on with them.
And he's like, because he wants Sawyer basically to get rid of the ghost ship.
Yeah.
He wants Sawyer to get in his own ship and like lure the ghost ship away so they can get away.
Yeah.
But he's like, in order for this exchange, we're going to take Nora and you're going to meet us back at Cloud Break. And she's like our collateral to make sure you actually come.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're almost at the end of the early part of this book already, because after all of this, there's essentially like a celebration that happens. A, because they're alive, and B, it's also Eric's birthday coming up. I don't know if you know this.
Everybody.
It's a big deal.
I wonder what his present will be.
And his present is a big statue of himself. And holy shit, are we getting to the beginning of the Little Mermaid movie? Yes, because a storm happens in this celebration and a raging fire. You might remember this. All of that happens. And I don't need to repeat all that stuff because you know it from the movie. But their ship that they're on goes up in flames. Eric tries to save Max, all this other stuff.
Max is okay, everyone.
Max is okay.
Yeah. So interestingly, because it's funny, when I was reading the book, at first I was honestly trying to get into the book. So I was like, oh, maybe it's like whatever. But then this was happening with the statue. And I was like, wait, what? Why do I feel like I know this? Like, this feels like I know it. And then I was like, wait, is this the like in the beginning of the Little Mermaid? And this is why I ended up watching it. But it was interesting watching the movie because the storm in the movie does come out of nowhere. It's like pretty calm, and then all of a sudden a storm comes. And the whole thing in this book is that there's these like random storms that just appear out of nowhere in like for like 2 years, more than 2 years. In this world. And so like Eric's coming back from having just seen the ghost ship. This random storm comes out of nowhere. And this is where the Little Mermaid starts.
It's world building.
It's got
guys.
layers.
It's world building.
Yeah.
So now we're like, I would say this is the midway through the book ish. And when it starts to do more crossover with Little Mermaid stuff. So I'll kind of skim past those parts of it, but I'll tell you all of Prince Eric stuff, obviously. So
I did enjoy the Ariel, but from Eric's point
perspective,
of view stuff.
yeah. I
That was
mean,
pretty
I
fun.
know Sam would like that stuff for
Yeah.
sure. The way it's written is very.
Yes.
Anyways, I will let me give you more of a taste of this book. So the storm happened. Eric wakes up, and everyone's worried about Eric because he hasn't woken up in a few days or whatever. And this character, I guess, is kind of important. I'll say her name, but she doesn't really play that big of a role. Her name's Carlotta, and she's like Eric's caregiver. Basically a mother stand-in since his mom passed away, and she's really
She's in
worried
the
about-
movie too.
Is
I
she?
can picture her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can too.
Well, she's not that important to the book.
I don't think
either.
she has a name in the movie, but yeah.
But I should say, like, when Eric wakes up, he remembers that he heard a voice, the most beautiful voice he's ever heard, and that maybe someone saved him. So he goes explore the beach where he kind of was found. And he sees the hottest girl. I mean, she is, but he sees Ariel. But we don't know her name yet. We don't even know her name yet. But I shall say, like, throughout this book, every time he talks about Ariel, anytime he looks at Ariel, anytime he gets close to like touching Ariel at all or smelling Ariel, it's very romanticized. It's just like, my heart skipped a beat. I get nervous around her. I also am the most comfortable I've ever been around this girl. I have warm fuzzies around me. She takes my breath away. All of these things. So that happens a lot throughout this book. And I want you to know that Prince Eric, if there's such thing as love at first sight, it is happening in this book.
Although it's funny, yeah, because it's just like constantly all these, yeah, as you said, romanticized things. But then it's always followed up with, but she doesn't have the voice, so
Yeah, I
it can't
know.
be my true love.
I'm just going to say that.
It's like, if only she had this one attribute
I
that
know.
I really want.
She's so cool. Oh, she can't talk. Damn it. So we have a little nice meet cute with Eric and Ariel. And at this point of the book, there's a lot of just Ariel exploring Valona with Prince Eric. She's very, as you know from the movie, very like Rapunzel-esque about how she conducts herself on the land. Everything's very new to her. She is like, everybody loves her. Whoever meets her is like, this girl right here. She just exudes happiness. She exudes love and joy and all these things. Everybody knows this. Eric's starting to know this as well. And everything about Ariel is very like starry-eyed, anything she looks at. And Eric kind of gives her the tour of the city because he has nothing better to do. And he really likes her. He just can't put his finger on it yet. But right at this point, he's just trying to be a friendly prince.
I do like that when he first meets her, because he's like, fuck yeah, this is my true love. And then she realizes she can't talk, and he's like, damn it. And then it's like almost like a burden to him for a little bit, but she like very quickly wins him over. And then he's like, why am I not annoyed by her? Like all the time. But I do like the stuff seeing Valona and walking around.
It's cute. And they do develop throughout the book. It starts off small, but it gets quickly integrated into their language like as the book goes on, is that their connection is so strong that Eric doesn't need much to understand her. He just knows her from even without a voice. They develop like kind of like sign language. Not even. It's just like one tap means no, two taps no. One tap means yes, two taps mean no. One of those. And that kind of thing. And like Ariel could just give him a look, and then he would just be like, oh my God, this? And he'll just say a bunch of sentences, and she's like, yeah. So they're very connected in that way. And
I will say that the live action is bad in most ways, but I do like the on land stuff because there is more like them being together.
Sure.
So I feel like hearing that it's like, okay, like knowing more about their relationship and why he would even be into this. I feel like that's something that probably the live action and this book both do like better than the cartoon. But also I have a very important question.
Yeah, please.
Is Nora still with them?
She's around, but she's not with them right now.
Yeah.
Is she with Gabriella?
Probably. They're probably flirting.
Nora's kind of like not a captive, but kind of captive. So she's like more on the ship at this point.
Okay, so Nora's with them in the city and her
Yes.
people are off at sea still.
Yeah, so they're waiting for Sawyer basically right
come
now.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do they need Sawyer to come back?
Because he knows shit.
He knows shit. Or they know shit, sorry.
Oh, because
Yeah,
he's going to help
they
them
know
kill
shit.
the
Yeah,
sea
yeah.
witch to follow the blood tide later.
They don't know how to kill the sea witch. They just know more about the blood tide and the Isle of
Okay,
Serene.
cool. Yeah.
And we also have like Ariel meeting like Vonnie and Gabriella and just Grimsby. And they're like, whoa, this girl, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool, Eric. And and
Did they know about the curse?
the Grimsby, Gabriella, and Vonnie know about the curse. Yes.
Okay.
They even tease them about it at some points in the book too.
Yeah, but Gabrielle and Vonnie only just found out, like within the pages of the book, timeline-wise, they find out about it.
Yeah.
Whereas Grimsby's known, for like ever.
Right.
By the end of this chapter, they land on the name Pearl for Ariel. That's like her kind of stand-in name for now. I forget exactly how it came to be, but it was basically like a lot of like taps for yeses and nos. And then Ariel's like, Pearl's close enough. Pearl's close enough for now. And so after that, Sawyer comes back to town and arrives with a crate, a whole ass crate. What's inside the crate? Let me blow your mind.
Oh my god.
The ghost of his mom is inside the crate.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a whole thing where he had to lure the ghost of his mom. Sawyer lured Eric's ghost mom all the way back to Valona, so Sawyer could show Eric and be like, "Yo, this is your mom." And
with like a piece of the ship or something. It's like he got a piece of the ghost ship, and he was like, "We found that if you have a piece of the ship, it like retains her essence or her spirit." And
Interesting.
this whole thing,
And it's a whole thing because usually when you look at one of these ghosts, you see someone else, but everybody can see Prince Eric's mom's Queen Eleonora. Eleonora? I think that's what it is. Or is it
Eleonora.
Eleonora.
I think it's Eleonora.
You can see her face, but she's like, these ghosts are expressionless. Like they don't talk. They're just kind of, well, sometimes they'll say stuff, but like mostly they're just dead faced. And by Eric seeing the ghost and Grimsby being like, oh my God, the queen, like this is crazy. It kind of gives them the boost they need again to be like, we gotta find this isle, guys. We gotta learn more about this mystery. And so Eric's trying to explain to Ariel, being like, hey, listen, I know we had a lot of fun times in the last 24 hours, but I gotta go. So when I'm gone, you stay here. But Ariel, she really wants to join him. She's just like, bring me on this adventure. Bring me on this adventure. And there's tiny moments in the book where Eric's like, what if I just tell her everything? What if I just tell her everything about my curse and all these things? Eric's not very open about his curse, obviously. He's not going to just drop this to a stranger, but he would have done it for Ariel in the last 24 hours because that's how close they are.
I mean, we never really, we find out later in the book, but I do think Ariel's insistence on like going with Eric on this trip and kind of being around him is obviously because, as we already know from The Little Mermaid, Ariel is also cursed.
She needs him
and
to
like
kiss her.
and so she's like, I gotta be around you, dude. Like you're going on a cruise. Like I gotta be there.
Everyone's cursed right now.
But Eric, obviously as a reader, if you never
days.
saw The Little Mermaid, you would have no idea about that. And you're just like, she doesn't come off as clingy though, I will say. She's just like, I'm tough.
Good.
Ariel's tough in the
She's
book.
the dream girl in this book.
Yeah.
Like from Prince Eric's perspective, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just like, except that she can't talk. That is her only negative. The next chapter, I shall say, is called Kiss the Girl.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It's called Kiss the Girl.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I wonder what happens in this chapter. Yes, it crosses over with the movie. It's that entire scene in the movie. And little did you know, Sebastian and gang were trying to kill Prince Eric.
What?
Well, because they didn't know. Just like by trying to egg Prince Eric to go kiss a girl, they didn't know he was cursed.
Oh, I see.
So they even have like things where like, oh, it's weird. Like we're on this like really romantic like lagoon or whatever, and we're just paddling along. I'm just hanging out with this girl. It's very romantic right now. Oh, that's weird. Like all these fish and there's a crab over there.
Like it's weirdly musical out here tonight. Yeah. I also wanted to mention, because we did skip over it, but the first dinner that Eric has, or the first meal at the castle with Ariel, which we also see in the movie, I did like that. Again, that was a fun crossover moment with the movie, which I hadn't rewatched it, and at this point I was still like, oh yeah, these are like things from the movie.
Dinglehopper.
But yeah, so she does the Dinglehopper thing, and then it's like Eric and Grimsby are talking, and then it specifically mentions how like he turns back to Ariel, and she's just kind of like got her arm on the plate cover or whatever, and it like specifies it, and I was like, oh yeah, because Sebastian like went under it, so she's like hiding it. But I don't know, I thought it was a fun little thing in the book that you don't,
little Easter eggs.
Yeah, you see like both
people.
sides, and yeah, I like that.
So the whole kiss the girl scene happens. There's this whole thing where, he's just like, oh my God, I almost kissed her, Eric. What are you doing? You almost died for this girl. And like
he's really down on himself about it.
Yeah. And like he tells his friends, and his friends are like, dude, what the hell? You almost kissed this girl. You just met her, but she is cool. She is cool. But you're cursed. Anyways, it's kind of funny. And then we go back to Nora. Now we're back to Nora. Nora tells her tragic and mysterious past. I won't get too much in the weeds about this, but I will explain the gist of it as my summary goes on here. But we do learn that she was one of the first victims of the blood tide. Big deal. Her mother died, and Nora almost died as well. In fact, she even says she died, but she came back. Ooh.
Interesting.
And we learn that from this story that the blood tide isn't just a path for the ghosts. Hey, what am I saying? Oh yeah, it's not just a path for the ghosts, but it's a path back to the Isle of Serain as well. So if they follow the blood tide and follow the ghosts will lead them to the Isle of Serain. It's all connected, guys. Yeah. It's very conveniently connected here. So the plan, how are they going to get a ghost to, find the Isle of Serain? Oh my God. Prince Eric's
mom. They have a ghost in a crate. Oh my gosh.
They got a ghost.
They got a ghost. Yeah. They have a plan. So Eric's like, again, he's reinvigorated and being like, I'm going to find this witch. I got to kill this witch, because that way I can be with anybody I want in this world, including Ariel, even if she's not my true love. So what he does is he friend zones Ariel in this moment. And he's just like, hey, are we just friends? Cool. I'm leaving you here. But then like we later find out that Ariel sneaks on board. Obviously she would.
Because she's a beast. All the people on the ship are like, wait, we're like out in the ocean and you have like swum to us and crawled up onto the ship. Like, you're intense, lady.
Yeah. So there's even a part where like they're following the ghost and this big fog happens and they start losing the ghost, Eric's mom's ghost. And then they're like, oh no, my God, we lost the ghost. What are we going to do? And Ariel like jumps off the ship. She jumps off the ship into the water, and it's like, oh yeah, she's flailing around like she's never swam before. But very quickly, she does learn how to swim, even with human legs. So like she's a quick learner in the sea. And then she's able to like tie the crate or whatever to the boat so that they can't lose the mom.
And everybody's like, oh, damn, Ariel. Whew. And Gabriella's like, if you don't marry her, I will.
That totally does happen. That's so funny. And they get to the Isle. Eric apologizes to Ariel for being like, I'm sorry that I told you to stay home. Turns out you're actually like super useful, and I'm glad you're here. They get there to kill the witch, but they don't find any witch. They find like a bunch of nothing. They find a lot of like empty chests and like mysterious chests. They fiddle with like letters and clues. They're just like looking for clues. Like something about this isle is not quite what they expected. But there's just a bunch of random shit here that the whole crew's kind of like going through. And through like looking through letters and looking through these clues, they find out the kingdom of Sate, again, the northern kingdom that's like trying to fuck up Valona all the time.
Fire Nation.
Yeah, basically. There's like contracts that basically are like, oh, well, clearly this witch made a deal with Sate to fuck up Valona. So like, what if like the witch created a bunch of storms to lower the defenses of Valona and the kingdom? And we actually learn this witch is making deals everywhere. This is not just Sate. She's trying to gain power, true power.
She's wheeling and dealing.
So it's not just like sea witch power. She's trying to get like political power. And so
The
and it's
worst
like
kind.
a deal over here, but she's like dealing with the people that deal was gonna fuck over, and she's just like she's playing all the angles.
yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure if it's at this part, but I will explain it now. Like the whole, like somebody was just like, yeah, like she is powerful, but she needs like, yeah, true power. Again, political power. And like something that witches can't do on their own just in the sea. She needs to be able to rule the land as well. So like that's what Ursula's plan is. And
Spoilers.
yeah, it's true. It's true. You don't know who the
Wait, it's Ursula?
You don't know. The witch.
Yeah, it's the witch. You don't know who it is
yet. Actually, you pretty much find out like in the next like
pretty much immediately.
few paragraphs here. But what happens is like as they discover all of this, like bad shit's starting to happen in the Isle. Everyone's like escaping back to the ship. Eric's mom's ghost starts acting very funny, and now she's like starting to say all this like fucked up shit that Eric's mom would never say. And then it turns out this witch is speaking through Eric's mom's ghost. And she's like saying, "You suck, son. Like it's just like saying all these bad names, being like, I'm gonna rule the world," like very like villain type stuff that she's like shouting. And then she's like, "Well, I'm gonna put this soul that I'm controlling back in the box," because like she has like all these souls that she's collected. Poor unfortunate souls, even, which I think is the name of a chapter that happens. So. Yeah, go ahead.
And she also signs off with Loverboy, which is a classic. I will say, I wanted to, before we moved on too far from this Isle of Serene, this whole part kind of annoyed me a little bit, mostly because when they first arrived there, it's talked about how empty it is. And so basically, you picture it like a donut. It's like a giant donut island with like water in the middle where the donut hole is. And like a skinny forest all the way around, which is like fruit trees or whatever. And like a bunch of the passage talks about how empty this is. There's absolutely nothing on there. They thought there'd be like a witch hut or something like that, but there's not. And then they're like, there's nothing here. Well, let's look in the water. And then like there's a ton of shit all in the water. And I was like, but you just spent like 4 pages talking about how this island is absolutely empty. And then you're like, well, should we leave, or should we look at all like the chests and like paintings and statues that are in the water? And I was just like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, that really annoyed me. I'm like, is it empty or is it not? And it also specifies that there's no bugs, not even a bug on this island. But then when they're leaving, all the fruit is rotting and all these bugs come out. I was like, I thought you said there was no bugs. So I didn't like that whole part.
It's, this witch, whoever this mysterious witch is, she has crazy powers that make it so that there's no bugs until creepy shit has to happen, which is going to happen right now, because now there's like a true escape sequence that happens. There are 2 eels. Who are these eels? 2 eels that are chasing after Eric's crew, and we get this whole like kind of fight sequence as well, where like, the eels are trying to like get everybody. Ariel's kicking ass in this.
I mean, you're saying all the eels are trying to get everybody, but it's like hundreds of eels that have entangled themselves into like one giant tentacle eel.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like wrapping itself around the ship, and they're sending lightning up through it. That's like
you're right,
like cracking, and there's like burning stuff.
Whoa, that is nuts.
It's nuts, and Ariel kicks ass. I don't know exactly what she does, but she's like ripping eels off people's legs and throwing them back in the ocean. There is a tentacle that grabs Gabriella, But guess who jumps in and saves her?
Is it Nora?
Nora.
Yeah.
Nora-
Gabrielle is also wearing Nora's green scarf like around her hair
They're
that she's
fucking-
had since like the very beginning when
Yeah.
they were first tied up. Gabrielle or Nora gave it to Gabrielle and she's like, here to remember your lost spy, but she's still got it.
Is this an appropriate time for a wee-oo, wee-oo,
Sure, yeah.
Nora?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Gabriella and Nora both fuck in
Yeah,
their
it
own
sounds
ways.
like it.
True.
You know
Yes.
what? Maybe you should save that Wii U for Nora until the thing I'm about to say
Oh.
next.
Oh.
Because I would say at this moment, maybe she fucks even more
Oh.
because she jumps in the water. And what happens when she gets in the water? Oh my God. Does she have fins? Does she have a mermaid tail, that Nora?
What?
My God.
That
Yeah, I guess we did. I guess part of her backstory was basically, which we maybe didn't say, but
you don't see. I don't think they say it yet, do they? I don't know, it
well,
doesn't
the whole thing is that she like because the witch, or yeah, was it said there, or was it you find out? I thought it was you find out earlier that the guy that ended up raising her was basically like you can never go back in the ocean, or the sea witch will like take like the witch will take you again.
Yeah,
because she
another
came,
curse.
she died in the ocean, but was
Oh, I
revived.
see.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
right. Yes, that's
so then
right.
like her like father figure was like, you can never go back in the ocean, otherwise you will die. So another curse.
Which is insane because like she became a pirate.
Yeah, but she's never been in the water.
Yeah.
They do specify that at this point they do talk about because they're like, but we've seen her swim, and they're like, you idiot, that was a lake, not seawater.
Oh, of
Yes,
course.
there's a
Yeah.
difference. There's a difference. Anyways, she
Yeah.
has a tail, guys. She has a tail and it's nuts. You know what else is nuts? Is that there's also a guy, a dude that's just like also in the water right now. Who is this dude? Well, let me tell you. There's a guy in the sea and his name is Malik. His name is Malik, who is a merman. And I'm going to read you a description of Malik real quickly. The man tilted his head to the side. His deep black skin was salt-flecked and cool-toned. Bring out the teal sheen in the scales running along his green tail. His dark braids were neatly gathered into a bun at the top of his head, small shells decorating the strands. A blue glass bead dangled from his left ear. He squinted his black eyes up at them as if unused to the sun and nodded, laughing slightly. This man is named Malik. He is a merman. He was released because the crew was like fucking like just like touching shit on the Isle of Serene, and that just happened to free him because he was trapped on that isle for 7 years.
I'm going to need a cold shower.
We also, so at this point we learned that Nora isn't what she's...
Does he get a Wii U?
Yeah, he gets a Wii U.
Yeah.
That's why I read the description. He seems kind of hot.
He does. He does.
There's a lot that happens here. Brad, you can fill in the details. The quick version is like Nora isn't what she seems. Obviously, she grew a tail. And it's one of those things where that if she goes back onto the ship, Malik's like, go back on the ship. Everything's going to be okay. And he talks about how half merfolk, people who are half human, half mermaid, can control this transformation once they get used to it. And if they go in the sea, they get a tail. And if they come out of the sea, they can get legs again, which is like, whoa, that's pretty OP, I gotta say.
Pretty fucking cool.
And we learned that Malik is also tied to Nora's mysterious past as well. And through a bunch of talking, we find out that Malik actually turns out to be her uncle. They're related.
Wait, whose uncle? Nora's?
Nora's.
Oh, wow.
Malik's Nora's uncle. And here we go. There's even more of a tie-in now because now they're like, let's keep tying in as many threads as we can. Everything's related here. We learned that Eric's mom, remember Eric's mom saved a child back in the beginning?
Yeah.
That child? Nora.
Oh, I knew.
Oh,
I
shit.
knew
That's
something.
right.
I'll tell you what.
It's all dovetailing together.
And this is crazy. Nora's mad at Eric because she's like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, how was I supposed to know you were the child?
Yeah.
And we also learn from all this talking as well, I think Malik says this, is that like the witch is evil, but her magic isn't everywhere yet. Like she is powerful. She is quite powerful, but she can be killed in like normal ways is what they said. Like she's not invincible. She's just like really strong as long as you can get close to her. Anyways, there's 3 ways to break a curse, by the way. I wrote them down. You have to do what the curse demands, whatever the rules of the curse are. You have to die. That's another way to break the curse, is that you did not do as it demands, or kill the witch responsible is how you break the curse. And at this moment, they're like, what is her name? What is her name? Her name is Ursula. Which I already spoiled.
That's how the chapter ends.
Yeah.
They're just like, what's this witch's name? What is it? And then Malik's just like, blah, 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 blah. Ursula. And that's how the chapter ends. Yeah. Pretty epic.
Wow.
And even in the next chapter, I think it starts with being like, Ursula doesn't seem like a witch's name. And then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. It really undercuts it immediately.
And so now we are in the late stage of this book. We're already starting to get there. So this part goes a little quicker because like you already know a lot of the beats on this. So Eric drops all of this stuff onto Ariel and is like, hey, if I kill Ursula, I can save the kingdom and then I can love whoever I want. Looking into her eyes. And Ariel's just like, Eric, like, I believe in you. Like, don't stop being so mopey, you bitch. No, she doesn't say that. But it's like, stop being so broody and just believe in yourself and be brave. And Eric is just like.
But she doesn't actually say that because she can't talk.
But they have a shared
she
language.
Says it with her eyes.
Has he
She
not
says it with
been
her
brave
eyes.
up till this point?
Yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah, but yes. So like she says it with her eyes, and he actually at this point in the book like understands almost everything she's saying without a voice. Yeah. She'll nod, and he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I should be brave. I should be brave." She'll nod again, and he'll be like, just like you were brave, just like you were brave on the ship, right, Ariel? And at this, like at some point between when they said Pearl and Ariel, he did discover her name was Ariel. By the way, I forget exactly when, but
on the rowboat when they were singing "Kiss the Girl."
Yeah, it was like way back.
Oh yeah.
But in the book, it's a little bit different because in the movie, Sebastian is like fuck, it's Ariel, like and like whispers it to him, whereas in the book. He's basically like, oh, I feel like we've been through every name. Like, what names are left? And he just kind of like stumbles upon. Yeah, he like stumbles like air, and she's like nodding yes, and he's like Ariel, and then like gets into it. Yeah,
nice.
And then she'll nod again, and he'll be like, "You're the youngest of your siblings, and you feel alone, and you wanted to explore the world." And she'll nod again. He'll be like, I feel like that too. And it's just like all of this stuff.
That's actually verbatim what happens in the book.
It's really funny. Okay, so we're almost getting there, like I said. So she's like, Eric, you just got to be brave. And he's like, I can be brave. I can be brave. What the heck? What is that voice I hear? Da, 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 da. And like basically she just slips out of his mind because he's just like, that is the voice I've been waiting for this entire book. That pure voice. So Eric runs out to this voice. He finds this girl. Her name's Vanessa. She's pretty good looking. He's like really excited because he's like, this has to be the girl who saved me when that ship went on fire, or when my ship went on fire and all that other stuff. And there's this whole thing where he's just like, everything about the interactions that I'm having with this girl don't feel right. Her voice is amazing. Her voice feels warm, but everything else about this interaction is cold. It's not effortless like it was with Ariel, but she has to be my true love because of the voice. It's all of that stuff. And like he even brings her back to like his room in the castle. And at one point, this is the weird part where he's just like, he tries to get Vanessa to kiss him for money. He's just like, I'll even pay you to kiss me if you can, because that will break the curse. And Vanessa's like, I'll kiss you for money if you do me one thing, and that's marry me. And he's just like, marry you? I just met you. And then it's just like back and forth. And then things start to get a little bit more, I don't know, feral with Vanessa and Eric. Like she's being a little bit more aggressive to Eric. And he's just like, I don't like this. I don't really like these vibes. I think you should
It's like,
go.
Everything's always come easy to me. What is happening?
Ariel, she was so much cooler than you, but you, I don't know. And then Vanessa just reveals herself, or Eric figures it out actually, that she is actually Ursula.
Oh.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think he doesn't figure it out here, does he?
Yeah, he figures it out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he figures it out.
Not on the boat later when they're getting married?
No. He figures it out here, but what happens is he figures it out and there's like a little back and forth. He finds out a little bit more information about like how Ariel's involved as well. And he's just like, you'll never get away with this, Ursula. And she's like, I think I will. And then she trances him. And at this point in the book,
I was waiting for the trance.
Yeah.
Yes, he's tranced.
So we get like a few chapters now, I think like 2, where Eric's POV kind of starts to shift and now he's tranced. So he did figure it out it was Ursula, but it doesn't matter because he's tranced. So he can't say anything about it. There's a lot of parts in the book at this point where he's just like, he wants to say these things. He wants to like talk to Ariel. He wants to tell his friends what is happening. But the words coming out of his mouth are like completely wrong. It's exactly what Vanessa wants him to say. And then eventually as his trance like kind of progresses, even his thought patterns stop going from like, I want to say this, but I'm saying this, into like, but Vanessa wants me to say this, like zombify kind of situation. And Ariel comes in and she's like, Eric, like, you know, like what's going on? Like, and at these points of the book, it's like, she breaks through a little bit and Eric's like, oh, I feel like I don't know, a ray of sunshine warming my heart only for it to close. like that kind of thing.
But she says this all with her eyes.
Yes,
course.
that's right. That's
Nice,
right.
yeah.
And then like his 2 BFFs, Gabriella and Vonnie and even Grimsby are like, oh, you want to have a wedding like tomorrow or today? I forget what it was. Like
this whole book's over like 3-4 days, maybe at most.
Yeah. They're like, you want to have a wedding? Like, you just met Ariel. And he's just like, Ariel? I met another girl less than 24 hours ago, and I want to marry that girl. And they're like, but what about Ariel, the other girl you met 2 days ago? And so, like, everyone's kind of thrown off by Eric, but, like, you know, they're kind of going with it at this point.
Well, it's his true love.
It's his true love.
You know.
Vanessa is really mean to Max as well in these like moments. Like Max senses that something's wrong, but like Vanessa's like, or Ursula's just like, get off me, you dog. Actually, there's a point where she's like, go lock your dog in like the closet or something like that. And Eric's like, I don't want to lock Max in the closet. I love Max, but I can't help it. Like that kind of, he's like so like tied to this this trance here. So flash forward a little bit. We're starting to get to the wedding. You kind of know this from the movie as well. And the whole thing is like, Vanessa's like, we got to get married right away. Invite all the kingdoms. Everybody has to see this. And they're at the altar. If you remember the altar in the movie. And like the I do's are about to happen. But what happens? Flock of birds start like pecking
a seagull attacks her.
Yes. Yep. Start attacking Vanessa. Vanessa's like, oh my God. And then Max jumps on Vanessa Ursula, and the necklace around Ursula drops. This magic glowing. Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
And it gets into like Ariel's like throat, and then like it like just becomes part of her now. And then Eric like he snaps out of it. And like the last part of this book is very quick, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So like it's just like she gets her voice back. Eric is so pissed. He feels violated that he was just controlled now.
As he should.
And he's ready to fight for his kingdom and for the people and person he loves. So before that happens, Ariel just drops a bunch of knowledge on him now. And it's just like, here, by the way, I was also cursed. So don't feel too bad about it.
We all cursed, you.
We're all cursed. And we also learned that like throughout this book, and especially now, she's just like, by the way, I signed this contract. Mermaids can't read.
Yeah.
Mermaids can't read because any book that goes into the ocean just gets wet. And when it gets wet, we can't read that stuff. So when Ursula made a contract, famously, nobody in the ocean can read. So they just signed it.
That's canon now. That's canon.
So if you ever wonder why she didn't read it over, it's just she's like, oh, it sounds good to me. Yeah. Which I think is really funny.
So dope. I love it.
Here we get the climactic battle where Eric impales Ursula with a boat. You already know that from the movie. Pretty cool. She dies like quite a brutal death for Disney standards, and it's pretty badass. Yeah. But I like this part because in the movie you're like, did Eric? I mean, we knew she had to die, but like, did she have to die that brutally? And it's like, well, if you're in Eric's shoes, yeah, she had to die that brutally because Ursula's fucking shit up.
I didn't really know where to put this, but I did want to say that like a lot of this book is like justifying Eric brutally murdering Ursula. Like throughout the book, he's like, she's gotta die. Like all these things have been ripped away. And it's like they keep reiterating where it's like, no, Eric is the good guy. Like, and I was thinking about it while reading it, 'cause especially towards the end before he kills Ursula, because he's listing off all the things, and I'm like, you're literally just trying to like make me okay with this person that's supposed to be like an extremely good Disney character murdering somebody. But I did notice that throughout the book. It's just like murder's okay for this one time.
Yeah, there is like a full page dedicated to like him being like, and this is all the bad things Ursula has done. The storms, the bad contracts, the curses. Now it's justified. And then he does kill her.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
So now we're kind of like in the epilogue where we learn, actually before the epilogue, we learned that like Gabriella, Bonnie, Sawyer, Grimsby, I think even Nora, like even though they were agreeing to show up to Eric's wedding because, you know, they're all pals and stuff like that, they had a plan. They had a plan too, because they knew Eric was acting a little funny. So their whole plan was like the wedding, the people who attended the wedding weren't actually anybody except pirates. They were like all of like Sawyer's crew, not like the like kingdoms like that were like kind of invited to come. And the whole plan was as soon as Eric says, I do, and they start to almost kiss, that's like Ursula's moment of weakness where I guess the rest of them were going to like stab her then and there. So
Nice.
But they knew that something was fishy because Vanessa tasked Eric with writing the invites or whatever.
Yes.
And he's like writing them and they're all like, what's going on with you, Eric? You're being weird. He's like, Vanessa, blah, blah, blah. She wants me to do all these things, like da da da. And like Ariel comes in and it's like this whole thing. And then he like hands Grimsby a bunch of the invitations and Grimsby like looks at them and he's like, okay, buddy. And he like goes over and then Eric like catches a little glimpse of them and it says, help me. And he thought he was writing all these things on it, but it just says help me in big letters.
Yeah. I should have said that. That was important. But yeah, anyways, it turns out maybe it wasn't important because none of that actually happened. Like,
they didn't do shit.
They didn't do shit at the end.
The seagulls and the sea lions did all the work.
So we get an aftermath scene where we see King Triton, and obviously he fucks. They describe his giant nipples. No, I'm just kidding. They don't. But like, King Triton is just like, hey, you're actually not so bad for a human. I actually recognize you from that statue I blew up.
And Eric's like embarrassed in the book that Triton saw that statue.
Yeah, I know. And we're not done yet because Eric's like, King Triton, I need to ask you a question. What happens to all the souls? Do they just die? And Triton's like, no, dummy. They just go back to where they were. And Eric's like, back to where they were? Oh, who walks
And he's like,
in?
Ursula's
His
still
mom?
using the Isle of Serene, and then just like summons the Isle.
Yeah.
And yes, continue on telling me.
Yes, he summons the Isle and his mom walks in. His mom is alive. She's not dead at all. And she's like, Eric, how long has it been? 2 years. And also, I want you to meet the love of my life, Ariel. He actually says that.
And she's got legs again, much like in the movie.
And then we get into the epilogue. We learn that like now time has passed. It might have been a year, might have been 2 years, at least 6 months. At least 6 months.
I think it said 2 years, maybe 3. It was at least 2 years.
Because we know that Gabriella and Nora actually got
2 years.
married off script. Like they got married at some point. They're laughing about their own wedding. And we get Ariel and Eric at the altar. They're joking about, hey, last time you were at the altar, you were cursed and you were tranced, you dummy. Yeah. And it's just like back and forth.
Everybody that comes by Eric brings it up. And he's just like, when people are going to let me live that down?
Yeah, he actually says that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should say too, like since Eric kills Ursula, they have a lot of kissing to make up for. So they kiss and say I love you a bunch in the last like 30 pages of the book, or not even like 20 pages in the book. There's like I love you, I love you. I kissed her lips. It felt like seawater. Like it's just
It's like literally the last 3 pages. That's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of Ariel tasting like seawater.
Yeah. And it's just like he's so happy that they go in for another kiss, and then they put their heads together, and then they go in for another kiss, and it's like the best thing ever. And now they exchange I love yous at the altar, and Eric goes, well, time for a new adventure. And that's the book.
That's the book.
Oh boy.
Right?
That's
Any
the book.
questions?
Yeah, any questions?
So many.
That was the quickest I could summarize it, too. I think
That was good summary, though.
We
I
did
feel like
good.
you hit all the major stuff.
Yep.
I told you guys today,
I
I spent like 2 hours of my actual workday figuring out a summary for this damn book.
Yeah. The only
So that
rule...
hot guy that you wooed,
Malik?
was he
Oh, Malik, yeah.
Malik? He was just kind of in it for that little.
Yeah,
not
I think
really.
he might
Yeah.
show up at the wedding at the very end. Like we even
Yeah.
get King Triton and Ariel's sisters
Yeah.
coming in for the wedding as well. But like, yeah, they're kind of in it. Like he was just there to show the reveal that Nora was also related to Eric's backstory, sort of.
Okay. All right.
I feel like the only thing that we maybe missed was when they were on the Isle rooting through shit, they found a bunch of, like Tung said, a bunch of like letters and stuff. And now they have the evidence that Sate is like the Fire Nation. So since Ursula's died, the storms are gone away. Like Sate has like fucked off because they have all this evidence that all the nations are like, you guys are assholes. And now Filona's like
Prospering.
raking in the money.
Yeah.
They're like the fish are coming back in from the boats.
Amazing.
And like,
Yeah.
yeah, things are looking up.
And everyone in this kingdom, and they make a point of this, love Ariel.
Yeah.
Nobody doesn't like Ariel. They're like, she's the fucking best.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Laura, questions. Yeah, this is a
Yes,
question corner.
questions.
Question corner. Go for it.
Question corner. I took issue with a few elements in the live action film, and I'm just wondering if they were rectified in this book.
Sure.
You mentioned that they did not reference Triton's nipples, so that's already one strike. Is there reference to Ariel wearing a sparkly dress at the end of the book?
Yeah, I think so,
Yes?
right? Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I'll look forward to reading
It's
that word picture.
what is it? It's like it's described as like sea foam, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, it's supposed to
Like
be
coming up.
purple, but we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
what it says. Does Eric throw his flute in the ocean out of frustration?
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
mention that.
There's a lot to go through, Laura.
How big would you say Eric's flute is?
They don't say, but I do think he doesn't just play flute, by the way. I'm pretty sure they say he just has a liking to like musical instruments. And
Yes.
right now he's in a flute phase.
But so he throws his flute away, but guess what? On his wedding day,
Oh, yeah.
his mother gives him a box. You know what's in there?
Is it the
his
flute?
father's flute.
Oh, that's nice.
But his father's flute is like kind of rusted and it might not
Yeah.
work anymore, but it's a good gesture.
It's just at the beginning you said he pulled it out of his shirt pocket. So I'm like, this guy can't have a
And he
very big flute.
Twirled it like a baton.
Yeah. Picture a baton.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lastly, this is maybe more of a hot take, but is the curse on Eric like a Pretty Woman situation? Like, is it everything but kiss?
Oh,
Like, can he fuck?
I bet
That's-
you he could.
Just no kissing.
That's what it seemed like. Because I think
Okay.
early on, like Tung very briefly touched on
a previous relationship.
Eric meeting another girl.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well. And I think it's because it's like they wanted him to kiss her hand. And he was just like, I can't. And
He
then like
couldn't.
Max jumps on and a whole thing happens. So like any kissing except for the dog.
But yeah, he can do hand stuff, I guess.
So,
Do hand stuff.
or like genital
Okay.
kissing.
Or
So-
genital kissing. Yeah.
Not
But if he can't kiss a
someone's
hand, he
genitals
can't
with
kiss
your
a
mouth.
vagina.
No, sorry, like one genital touching another genital.
Yeah. Just no
Yeah,
mouth to
but
genital.
no mouth to genital.
No mouth
yeah,
to
that
genital.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Oral,
that would
you
be
might
kissing.
say.
No.
Yeah, mouth to genital.
P to V, we can do.
But he could maybe lick it. He just can't kiss it.
Yeah, Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you're playing with fire,
Fine
trying
line,
to figure
yeah.
this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad these are the questions you guys asked by the end of this book. Did you have any more questions,
Those
Laura,
are all my questions.
for now? Okay.
Yeah.
Sam,
Those are
any
the burning
questions? Any questions?
No,
I look forward to reading the book.
Yeah, so that's my next question
go.
to Sam and Laura, and then I'll ask Brad. From the summary, did you feel like you got this full story from us? And is this something that you're intrigued to read now? Or are you good?
No, I want to read it.
and I feel like you guys did a good job, so I don't need to.
I want to get
You
the
don't need to.
vibes of the pirates a little more, like the stuff that we don't see in the movie. I think I just want to like that. The one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit was like the side trip to Serene. Like that's not in the movie. When did they have time for
No.
that? Like they were like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. in this movie. I don't
That's
know
what I
when they
mean
could
is
have done.
in the movie, it's almost like they skip a day, but you get that day in the book.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I'll be interested to learn more about Serene and its rotting fruits.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And like the ghosts.
The ghosts.
And Sam, you feel like you got a full picture here. You're not interested in reading about. I mean, like they do. It is that YA
I
level
think-
of cuteness when it talks about like how Eric like sees Ariel and all that stuff.
And I do read a fair bit of YA, which is why I say I'm like, I feel like you guys gave me pretty much everything. That it's not like the prose is gonna. It's not like I'm gonna go in and be like, well, you didn't read it to me, and like I'm like, no, you gave me what it probably is written. Like, so it's fine.
That's fair. That's fair. And now I'll go to Brad. Brad, you and I, we went through a journey through Valona together.
Yeah,
We've
You weathered
both
the
become.
storms.
Thank you. We've both become Prince of Song and Sea. And I'm just curious, what did you think of your experience reading this as a whole?
I like the color of the book. It's
Nice.
a really nice blue. It's a very nice sea blue. But no, I think I didn't dislike it. I mean, if people have listened to like Pixar Pals or Disney Dummies, which if they haven't, they should, they would know that I love a good like side story, Lion King 1.5 kind of thing. So this book kind of tickled that fancy a little bit, which is why I was bringing up some of the little Easter eggs here and there because I was like, oh, that's fun. Like I enjoy seeing things from a different angle, and I like that the world was expanded upon. So I didn't dislike it, but I also like don't think people need to read it, which is maybe like the best review I can give. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to, obviously, like it's not a bad book. Go ahead and read it. But like if you're like, do I need to read this book? I would say no. Like
Yeah,
you know,
It is-
listen to the podcast.
totally. We do a better job anyways. But no, I think like you hit the nail on the head. It's probably the same with Bravely too. It is like the demographic for this book is definitely for a younger audience. It is a YA book. And like some YA books are like you can extend that to people our age, over 30 and stuff like that. There's things to like about this book for sure. It's just it's written in a very romanticized Disney-like ways, which is kind of what you want out of a book like this. And like my experience was that it was harmless. Like I don't think I think of the Little Mermaid any less because I read this book. If anything, it kind of does expand on some of the things that I had questions about. Like I didn't really know who Prince Eric was, and now it's like you do get to know him more in this book, which is great.
I think if you accept this book as like canon for like the Little Mermaid, watching the Little Mermaid the other night, like it does make some of the parts a little bit like the killing of Ursula at the end, where I was just like, oh yeah, like because all the side stuff, and so I do feel like I don't think it hurt Little Mermaid at all. If anything,
Yeah,
it like
it
made it the
supplements
same, if not a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I'm a fast reader, and I know Laura and Sam are much faster than I am. Like you two could read this in a weekend. It would be like
easy.
8 hours
And
and
I
you're
will.
done.
Yeah, easy.
Like it would be such a fast read. And that's why it's like I wouldn't discourage people if they were like, should I read it? I'd be like, if you want to, like you could sit down.
If you like Little Mermaid like a lot, then go for it. It will definitely just again supplement the source material if anything.
Yes.
But yeah, it is like, it's fine. It's fine. I will say I'm not going to read it again, but I'm glad I went on the journey with Brad. So this was good. Thank you for being.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I will say.
Yeah.
I was very worried going into it.
Me too.
Like, oh God.
I know. I'm just like me with words. I'm like, God damn it. Where's the pictures? Where's the picture except the one picture of hot Eric on the front of this book?
Just small blue stealing into the camera.
Yeah.
Speaking of that picture, Brad, question for you. Which F1 driver do you think
God damn it.
he most looks like?
I can't remember his name, but the Ferrari guy.
Charles?
At least one. Yes.
I was thinking he has like Carlos Sainz hair, but the blue eyes.
Oh yeah,
and
the hair.
jawline
But
are
I
very
think
Charles. Yeah.
I think overall.
No.
Yeah.
Couldn't get through this episode without referencing F1 to some degree.
Well, just to paint a picture for it's an audio
It
format. We have to help
yeah.
out our audiences.
It is we did splurge on the hardcover book, so it is
course.
a nicer book. Yeah.
Beautiful
Like I
book.
said, I do like the color. Like I said, it's a very nice blue. I'm oh yeah. So we were going to touch on this. Are you do you take the book cover off?
I had
'Cause
to.
I take
to.
the book cover off.
I
I did not feel right reading it
Yeah.
with this
I tried to.
cover on.
I tried to, but it's very glossy or like
Yeah.
I don't know, is it slippery? So like it just
Yeah,
felt
it's slick.
weird flipping through pages. But let's go right into any source material or I think the source material is easy, but let's go to Brad. Anything for source material or diginos for this?
I honestly tried. I spent like an hour today just like Googling. I did not watch any YouTube reviews because I felt like that would really throw off my algorithm and I didn't want that.
Fair.
But yeah, like Tung said, it's written by Linsey Miller. Definitely, she's written a bunch of these Disney books. I feel like she's on their payroll, just like pumping them out. Nope, I couldn't find anything. If listeners at home, if you've got fun facts,
I found a few fun facts.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, there you go.
I looked at the wiki of there's a wiki for this Disney Prince novel, and I have just a few bullet points here.
Okay.
Eric's friend Gabriella and Ariel's nickname Pearl are references to Ariel's friend Gabriella and Alana's friend Pearl from the Little Mermaid series. There you go.
Okay.
The book's chapter titles are references to songs from the animated film and its musical adaptation. There is one chapter title that is a reference to Return to the Sea. I don't know what that is. Eric's friend Vonnie's idea of Eric holding a singing competition to find the mysterious voice is a reference to The Contest from the musical adaptation.
By the way, Return to the Sea is the second Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay. Got it. What else?
I'm on the same site.
You're on
as
the
you.
same, okay. I don't know.
This is all I could find. Good
yeah.
old Disney fandom. That's like the
It's
only
so
place
weird.
that had anything.
One of the fun facts is Eric's kingdom's name is Valona. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. I like skimmed this trivia and I was like, this trivia sucks.
Okay, let me just read this. I didn't even. Okay, here, I'll just read it because it's a big paragraph and surely there must be something important in there. There are extra adventures in between Ariel's time on land. Eric was to leave the next day to find clues about Ursula when he found Ariel. He spent the next morning and afternoon showing Ariel around before going on his voyage, which Ariel follows. After a long and near-death endeavor where Captain Sawyer's first mate Nora found out she was a mermaid, the group returned to Valona. That night, Eric was enchanted by Ursula down by the beach. I guess that's just
happens
the
in the
plot.
book.
That's just the plot.
I guess it's trying to like tell you the timeline of things, but like
I think it's just like general trivia, and it's like this is
that's not there.
trivia where the book fits in the movie. Yeah, not really a lot.
Not a lot.
I thought I would. I even tried to like search interviews with her because I know you found something
For Bravely, yeah.
for Bravely. Yeah, I feel like Linsey Miller's just like pumping these out.
It was a different author on Bravely.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because in Bravely it was a whole thing about like her experience, like reaching out or Disney reaching out to her and stuff like that. I don't know who else. If Linsey Miller also did the other two Disney Prince novels, but I did read that there currently is no plans to make more Disney Prince novels.
What a shame.
So people better start buying these. It's like there's an overstock of Disney Prince novels. There might be more. Okay, here's a fun question. Which Disney Prince would you want a novel from?
I would probably go for the Prince Philip one just because, like,
Oh,
after watching Cinderella 3, I kind of don't want a book to
That's
mess
Prince
with my
Oh, I
with my
see.
perception of the Cinderella princess.
Oh, but I meant
or
like-
Cinderella prince.
If there was a Prince book that doesn't
Oh.
exist yet, like, do you want one from the Beast's perspective?
Too
Prince,
broody.
Prince Adam?
Yeah.
The Prince of Rose and I'm trying to
I feel like I do
Rose
want
and
Prince
Claus.
Charming because I'm like, oh, I want that specific one that we saw in Cinderella 3, though. I want like his book.
Yeah.
Like, don't change him too much. Like,
If it's the same version of him, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a little kind of bimbo-y and just
Or
you
the
know,
prince from Snow White, because we don't know much about him.
What about Flynn Rider? Do you want one about him?
Is he a prince?
Backstory.
Is he not?
Becomes a prince, I guess.
Prince of Scoundrel and Horse.
Prince of Thieves.
Prince of Thieves.
Can we get a backstory about him?
Yeah.
Or we could do the prince from Enchanted, James Marsden's character.
Anyway, something to
That'd
think
be all right.
about. There obviously there's a lot of rich history that we can add to
I
these
feel like
Disney
so
books.
many of the princes are boring
Yeah.
in my mind, which is why I'm like, I don't care about stories from you guys. But if I would have had to pick with no books, like I would have said, yeah, Eric, because he seemed the most not boring
Yeah.
And
from the
hottest.
get-go. And
I
the
bet
hottest.
Yeah, and he's the hottest. I think I skimmed the Goodreads reviews, which will lead me to 5-star, 1-star in just a second. But like, it seems like they're all kind of similar, like rating. Brad, you can prove me wrong. I'm not sure if you can like Google that real quick, but I think the other ones are like highly rated for what they are. Is that true?
Yeah. I'm looking.
I have
at-
Goodreads open for this too, and it seems pretty highly rated.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, we thought this book was pretty okay for what it is. I bet you get a similar experience for learning more about Prince Charming and Prince Philip. So
Well, I'm seeing one here, Kill the Beast. And it's
Is it Gaston book?
But was that
Yeah.
written by Lindsay Miller, though?
Oh.
it follows the downfall of Disney's slickest, quickest, and smarmiest Gaston.
wow.
I want to
But
it's
read
not
that
Dis-
from
it's not a
Lufu's
Disney Prince
perspective.
Young
novel.
Gaston lived in the shadow of his friend, the prince. He agreed with the prince's ideas, went along with the prince's schemes, and hid his own talents so that his best friend could shine.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, all I'll say is that Lindsay Miller did indeed write the 3 Prince books.
Oh.
So Song and Sea, which is the first, and then Prince of Thorns and Nightmares, which is the second, and then Prince of Glass and Midnight, which is the third. And you know what? Each book rated better than the last.
Okay.
Oh.
So-
Oh. Get ready for a Disney Prince series.
Yep.
Disney.
The third one on Goodreads, 4.03.
Holy shit.
Not bad.
Disney Princes. Disney Princes.
It's a trilogy.
All right, 5-star, 1-star, really quickly for Prince of Song and Sea, 3.8 out of 5 on Goodreads, 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon, and 4.7 out of 5 on Indigo. So, like, these are pretty freaking high ratings. I pulled these from Goodreads. I got 2 of each, 5-star from bookish.reader.l. Okay, this review might be 100% biased because I'm trash for Prince Eric, but I don't care. This was everything I wanted in a Disney Prince POV retelling. It kept the Disney feel and magic alive while adding its own twists. I love the background on Prince Eric and the added curse, the side quests, and getting to know more about Ursula and her magic. The pirates and bits of court intrigue were also great too. It all helped give some depth and explanation to Eric's actions, and I love the details from the original movie. The chapter titles were amazing, and I kept singing the songs in my head the entire time. I found this to just be a very happy, nostalgic book. I love the romance between Eric and Ariel, and of course, I was so happy Max was in this. Overall, I really enjoyed it. To me, it read more middle grade / younger YA, but heck, it's a YA Disney retelling. If you want steamy romance or dark elements and heavy action that goes beyond the movie, you'll probably be disappointed. But if you want to see Prince Eric's POV and read just a cute, happy YA Little Mermaid retelling, then I definitely recommend this. I think that's a pretty accurate review.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I do think it does keep, that review I feel like is right. It keeps the spirit of the first of the movie, but it does age it up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, but I feel like it's got the same vibe as the movie, which is pretty good. Yeah.
5 stars from Mahina. No, because why was this actually so good? Eric, ILY. I love you. 1 star, 2 1-stars here. From KO, DNF. Did not finish.
Oh.
The fight scenes are just impossible to understand between the characters using they them pronouns in group scenes. And I was weirded out by the amount of sex/gender conversation for a children's fairy tale.
That's not what this book is.
Aged up, yo.
Yeah. Another 1 star. And by the way, like, a lot of the 1 stars are really just complaining about like, oh, this book is woke because like there's one character that goes by they them pronouns and like 2 other characters who are females and are in love. Like, who cares? But here's another 1 star by INGEVC. Ingvik. This book could use a lot more editing. It felt rushed and soulless to me. And please, no more calling King Triton Daddy. Ew.
Why not? He's daddy.
Let's more.
But daddy, I love him.
And that's 5-star, 1-star. I can go to hot takes. Hot takes. Hot takes. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Brought to you by The Burning Ship.
Yeah,
at the beginning of the movie.
King Triton's nipples.
King Triton's nipples. Eric's sweet flute skills. Which, by the way, hot take. It's a recorder. I don't care what you say.
I look forward to reading the description of how he plays, specifically where his hands are.
Yeah, his fingering.
I wish
Is it good?
he played more music in this book, personally. He only did it at the beginning. You're like, oh, music's a really big part of Eric.
Yeah.
Just
it's funny because I read like, I think I was literally 1 chapter in, and Sam was like, has he played his flute yet? And I was like, but he had.
What a guy.
Brad, any hot takes? Laura, Sam, I know you didn't read it, but anything you want to add to the hot take section here?
Yes. This is less a book-specific hot take and more of a Disney Readies hot take in that we should read some fan fiction.
Oh my God.
Disney fannies.
Yeah.
What is this podcast anymore? We just keep doing it. We'll do Disney fanfics after we do Disney liveys.
God, no.
Brilliant.
Laura, hot take?
This shouldn't be a hot take, but let this be a lesson to all of us. Always trust your dog.
Max knows.
They know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a lot of like book time in this movie this movie.
He does.
Book. And it's good. It's good. It's always like, we love Max. Everybody loves Max.
Yeah.
Except for Ursula. Here's a hot take. It was the only one I wrote, but like we get, it's more like I'm just going to point this out. It's less of a hot take, but we get more written about Ariel's sisters in this book than we do about Sebastian, Flounder,
Interesting.
and Scuttle. Like they're just like, you know that these animals exist, but they never say Sebastian, Flounder, Scuttle in this book at all. And even at the wedding at the end, it's just like King Triton and Ariel's sisters are here, but it's not like, and there also happens to be a crab and a fish and like a gull. Like that doesn't exist.
That's too much magic. That's too much disbelief.
There's only one scene early on when Eric is showing Ariel around that he's like, oh, there's some weird like yellow and blue fish swimming along the canal next to us, and he's like, never seen one of those before. That's like the closest you get.
Exactly. Brad, anything?
I feel like I kind of sprinkled a lot of mine in here and there. I do feel like the book does, I mean, as much as the book ends very quickly, I will say. Because I was trying to figure out, do I want the book to go longer? I don't know. But when I was reading it, I was just like, and then watching the movie, because it skips over so much stuff in general, I feel like it doesn't feel like a speedy ending, but they go very quickly from like, they're figuring everything out, and then it's like, oh, we're killing Ursula this chapter, we're getting married this chapter, and it's just like, it's done. And it just felt very abrupt at the end.
I think this book is really just to have the beginning part of it. Just like, here's all the backstory before the fight that you see in the movie, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, you've seen that fight. We'll just explain it a little bit, but you know it.
Yeah. I feel like they definitely make Grimsby seem cooler than he does in the movie.
Way cooler.
Yeah. He's I would say like borderline zaddy in this book.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost fucks. Almost fucks.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's quite there because he loses,
No.
but
Yeah.
he's kind of a nag throughout the movie or throughout the book.
I could have used a little more pirate action.
Yeah.
Which I get, like there's a blood tide and stuff. I already brought up the whole Isle of Serene situation. Not a fan of that whole chapter, to be honest. Everything about that really annoyed me. But the ghosts were cool though, the way they were described. I feel like they talked about, especially when the mom ghost was like in the castle, I feel like she's described as like not she's more opaque now and like almost like flaking off, like dried out sea salt in a way. And like I was like, oh, it's a pretty cool visual. And
Yeah.
so yeah. But no, yeah, I feel like I sprinkled my grievances in here and there.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, is that it for everybody?
Oh, I have one more.
Yeah.
Which is that I'm just so glad to know. I wasn't expecting it, but it's really nice to know that there's a book out there that brings attention to an incredibly important cause, which is mermaid literacy.
It is pretty funny. It is pretty funny.
I do like that they
Yeah.
make a point of being like,
Yeah, all mermaids can't read, not just me. Don't blame me.
And now we know.
That is so dumb and hilarious.
Also, we didn't really spend too long on it, but Nora is just like, she can just change back and forth. Mermaid legs,
Yeah,
like
mermaid legs,
willy
mermaid
nilly,
legs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like wild because we didn't really get into it, but her mom and dad are like, I can't remember which was which, but one was a human, one was a mermaid, and then I think it was the father was the human and wanted to become a mermaid, and that was the contract they signed with Ursula. But then they skipped town.
Oh yeah,
and
they
then
try to
so
avoid.
Ursula like
yeah, we skipped through all that stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
But,
I look forward
so-
to reading that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
But yeah, Nora's pretty badass. Let's get a Nora book.
Yeah.
I think my last hot take is that I think it's just incredible that Brad and I were able to read a book.
Yeah,
Well done,
that's
team.
really.
I was gonna say that, but didn't want to be mean.
No, I think it's fine. Like, I mean, like a book. I mean, it's not that we can't read, everyone. It's just like it takes for me a lot of purpose, and like I have to be really, really, really into it to want to read just a novel, a novella, if you will. But I did find like because it's such an easy read that it wasn't too taxing on the brain. Really, it's just like once I started reading, I'm like, oh, okay, I can freaking do this. So hot take is that I think Laura and Sam, you should give us more, credit and praise for reading this book. Maybe.
I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't fishing.
Yeah. Good job.
Wow, so convincing. Good
job.
Thank you everyone for joining another Disney book club, Disney Readies, whatever you want to call it. I think it's officially Disney Book Club. I don't know. Maybe do we do another one of these one day? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
It doesn't have to be a Prince novel. I do think, we could, what is this, once a year? Is that the cadence now? We do like a book club. I think Brad and I are at least off the hook for the next one. Laura and Sam, you can figure it out. If you want to do a book club, you want to do a fanfic, we're all ears. But I think that's it for us.
We'll see what's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is today's episode of Disney Dummies Cross Pixar Pals, Disney Readies, Disney Book Club. And guess what? This is our second last episode before our hiatus. So that's pretty nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The trailer for Elio came out today.
Yes, that's
Which
right.
will probably be our next episode.
We saw it at the theater last night, actually.
Ooh,
Wow,
what
I
were we at the
didn't.
theater for?
The day the Earth blew up.
Never heard of it.
The Looney Tunes one, right?
It's Looney
Yeah.
Tunes.
I said the same thing before we went and saw it. Sam was like, I got us movie tickets. I was like, for what? I've never heard of this. But you should go see it. Everybody at home, go see it. It's actually pretty good.
The day the Earth blew up.
After
Really-
we watched.
It will
Really good
definitely
animation,
not be in
actually.
theaters by the time this podcast.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it
true.
won't.
It's true.
But
you
the
know what's-
animation was really good.
Nice.
I do want to see it. But you know what still will probably be in theaters by the time this goes up? Snow White.
No.
I don't know. The way the publicity train's going, I
Yeah.
don't know if it will be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyways, join us one more time on our next episode for our, hiatus little episode here, our somewhat farewell episode, but not really. But thank you for joining us on the seas, you merfolk out there. Before we leave, I do think I hear Ariel's voice singing us out of this episode.
Or you got a friend in me. Wait, that's not her. That's not her. Ooh, it's a higher key than normal.